Hey, middle-aged musician here. Welcome to my train wreck of a video. I I think I deleted half of what I did, and I can't figure out which end of this elephant is the trunk and which end's the tail. So anyway, let me just start by saying I thought I would go and look at a couple of my mandolins. They're both Eastman. So Eastman, if you don't know, is a Chinese company that trained luthiers to make high quality instruments. I have a Eastman violin. I've had a couple of Eastman mandolins. One of the Eastman mandolins I've had for since like 2009. Pretty high quality. Good bang for the buck. They well, yeah. I generally liked. It's not. You can get higher quality stuff, right? But this is for the money. You're getting pretty good stuff, and so they've made a little bit of a name for themselves, reproducing a lot of highly sought after instruments at an affordable price, right? So you think 1920s era Gibson mandolins when Lloyd Lohr was running the shop. Even before that, you think about some of the violins and that, which is where they started. They even have an L5 copy of a Gibson Mother Maybelle Carter style guitar. Very highly regarded. So I have a couple of the 800 series, which is their penultimate series. The 900 series is a little bit secret sauce. They don't make a lot of 900 series stuff. And actually, when I bought my first 800, my 815V, I was split between that and a double point 900 series overhaul double point. But I bought the 815V. Sorry, it gets confusing. 815 is the F hole. So I bought that because it was pretty much a bluegrass Bill Monroe mandolin. So I'm comparing that, which is one I've had for, I don't know, 15 years, almost 15 years, versus a brand new 814, which is an overhaul. Both Florentine style, so they've got the F scroll, and you'll have to apologize all the videos because they keep talking about the F scroll as the F hole. It's the F scroll, the thing on the top. But they're both Florentine or F style series mandolins. And the difference, other than the wood and the age, is in the neck profile and a bunch of other things. But the big the big difference to pay attention to in terms of series is the overhaul versus the F hole. There's a lot of other differences, but anyway, I'll get into that, and hopefully I don't bore you too much in the minutia. So here we go. Buckle up. Middle-aged musician here, and today I was going to talk a little bit about these two Eastman mandolins, both 800 series, both quite a bit different. The one on my left is one I bought new back in 2009. Red spruce top, maple body, pretty standard 1920s Lohr style F5 mandolin with the F holes. Good bluegrass mandolin, V-shaped neck. The other one is pretty much an older style, 815V. This one's got a little bit of, I don't think you can really tell that much, a little bit of relicking, older style, probably closer to the early 20th century, overhaul. This one is, despite being a lot newer, this is a 2023 model, despite that being a much mellower instrument with that overhaul. Also, not sure if you can really tell from this, but the earlier 814V has a little bit slightly elongated body, and the F hole winds up being a little bit different because of that. As that got perfected over the years, these are, of course, reproductions of those instruments made by Eastman. But yeah, you can look at those today. The purists out there, I'm just going to apologize. I totally swapped 814V for 815V. So 814 is the oval hole, 815 is the F hole. They're both the /V. Well, I guess I mentioned the V. And the 814 is also the -BK, which is the black finish on that. So anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and mention that because I totally flipped those numbers on you. So anyway, onwards and upwards. Before I head of myself, I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences in the bodies. I mentioned the F hole, the elongated shape. You can probably tell. If I get that just a little bit closer to the camera, you can probably see a little bit of difference in the F holes. The other thing is just the shape of the top. So let's bring this here. This is kind of a normal top. This one has a much more pronounced curve to the top. The other thing is the neck, and the neck is pretty noticeable. So for this experiment, I brought along a handy dandy, making sure it doesn't fall off, contour gauge, one of these things. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this 815V, which would be, early to mid 20s Gibson lower era mandolin, and let's go ahead and kind of push that in, get the contour, right? Well, let's try that again. It seemed like it slipped a little bit on me. Oh, there's a way to lock it in. Okay, so we're going to get that contour. I'm going to set this down. Try not to step on it later. Very important. And then we're going to take this earlier, which has a much rounder neck, which is actually surprisingly comfortable. I'll do the same exact thing. Okay. Set that down. Don't step on it. So I think this locks it in. Okay. So hopefully you can see this one is the later, more V-shaped neck. This is the earlier, more rounded neck. Yeah, and I think that comes across. So anyway, just wanted to try and demonstrate that to you. They feel very different in your hands. So okay, I'm just gonna start with the 814 because from a historical perspective, it's a little newer. Nice chord sounds. Very mellow sounding. It's a brand new instrument, so it already kind of has that broken in sound, Right, so it's not a bright sound at all. It's pretty mid-rangey, pretty mellow. It's got the oval hole. Also, this fingerboard extension extends over the treble side of the oval hole, so it's going to block some of those treble frequencies. So let's look at what's a much older but brighter instrument, the 815. Okay, so here I am with the 815. You can already tell it's a little more woody. It's a brighter. It doesn't have that mid-range. It doesn't have the volume even. it's been played more, so you can kind of hear the wood has opened up a little bit more, but just the nature of the instrument is going to be a little bit brighter, you know. Right, so you get that automatically, just tapping on it. Acoustically, you can hear it's a lot different experience. So, you know, they're going to be a very different, and of course, you know, this is good for the, you know, get those Bill Monroe bluegrass chords, you know, that. Right, so you can get those, you know, those bass notes kind of come out. If I try the same thing on, I'll go back to the 814. And it's a much different feel. It's a much more open sounding chord. It doesn't have that, you know, that bright attack. And, you know, you put this next to a banjo, a steel string bluegrass banjo with a resonator on it, not an open back gut string banjo. Steel string violin, not a gut string violin. You get a little bit further in the musical development of the instruments, and you're going to hear this difference. And you talk about the woodiness, but this just has that. It almost sounds like the difference between the 815 in that style mandolin is an octave mandolin. This sounds more folky, just out of the box. And you listen like Led Zeppelin, another guy, you know, Jimmy Page, these other guys playing them. They're playing A-holes. Not A-holes. Oval hole, A style, but oval hole mandolins. And those had that more folky kind of feel to them. So, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth.